Welcome to Real Life with Jenny. My name's Jenny Senaparatna. Grab your favorite drink, get yourself a snack, and we will get started. Today I have vanilla bean macaroon black tea, one of my favorites. It is so sweet and yummy. You really don't even need cream and sugar, but you know what? Never bad to add in. And I have some brownie brittle blondie bites with M&Ms. I don't know. My daughter bought them for my husband for Christmas. They were actually super good when we did them on Senna samples. So here we are. That's my snack. Trying to eat up what's in the house. So let's get real. I'm going to talk a little bit about this last week in my life. I know I always do this, but here we are. And it has been maybe not the best week I've ever had. Okay, let's just be completely real. I have had a rough week, and not like a rough week like normal people, like rough week in very weird ways. So first of all, it's the beginning of the new year, and you have all these New Year's resolutions and goals, and I have failed almost all of them. Like there hasn't been many that I followed through on. I'm like, oh, maybe I should get to those. Like it has been even to the point that my Bible app was like, hey, did you remember to use the Bible app today? And I was like, oh no, it's 10 o'clock. I should probably do that. Like just not doing well at those. So one of them, I had this grand plan, was to do a no spend January. Now, granted, this is extremely hard, to do a no spend anything. A no spend day is a hard day, most of the time, but I was going to do a no spend January. And so I decided that would be something we would do, which means no groceries. So I was like, okay, I'm like, that's not actually tangible in the way we live our lives. So I need to make sure that we can still buy puppy food because the dog doesn't understand no spend. He doesn't understand when his puppy food is gone. So he still needs to get that. That's important. And we were going to do about $25 a week. And that maybe I could get eggs, bread, milk, and lemonade because my husband drinks lemonade for his kidney stones. So he's been doing that for about 6 years. He drinks lemonade every single day. Kudos to him. I'm not taking that away because you know what? Having a kidney stone is not worth the, $3 a week it is for his lemonade. So anyway, I have this grand plan. We're not even far into January. I mean, I'm not even halfway through the month. And I have a pickup tomorrow for groceries. Like it is already ordered. It is ready to go because I realized that I don't buy that many groceries. So I thought I'm going to eat out of the freezer. I'm going to eat out of our fridge and I'm going to eat out of the pantry. 100%. That's all we're going to eat. And then I went in to the freezer and I realized about 3 years ago, we have a teeny tiny little freezer. It's not a super big one. And I filled it halfway with empty boxes. And then the rest of it, there's just a little bit of room for groceries, like food, because I didn't want to have it all the way full because everything at the bottom I never get to. And by the time I get there, it's, I have forgotten it, that kind of thing. So this doesn't have a lot. So I went in and I was like, okay, I'm going to plan the meals for the week. And I was like, yeah, there's not that much in here because I don't keep a lot in there. I keep the boxes in there so it stays cold and it's just a whole economic thing. I think maybe I'm crazy. I don't know because now I'm saying it going, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's what I do. And then I went into my pantry and I was like, okay, we have noodles. No problem. I can make noodles. We've got a little bit of stuffing. No problem. We can make stuffing. And then I went into the second, we have 2 drawers. And the second one was all Jell-O mixes or brownie mixes. Now I could live on brownies. I don't think that's our best option for the month. I'm not sure that Jenny eating brownies for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and Jell-O is our best way of living life. So then you go into the fridge and you're like, okay, yep, same situation. Really what I realized was I only buy enough groceries for the week. That has been something I've done for years. I don't overbuy. I don't underbuy. I buy enough once a week and that's what we use. I don't overbuy things. So, I have some food in the freezer, I'll buy chicken and I'll freeze chicken or beef or whatever. So I have some of that, but not really even enough to get past 2 weeks. I used it all already that we had in the freezer. So I'm kind of going, okay, I've completely failed at this, right? I'm just going, this is a failure. This is not going well. I have already broken a New Year's resolution. I am not doing well. I might as well just give up. That's kind of where I get to, right? So the other day, my husband is sitting in the kitchen because my daughter's home, and so he couldn't be in the other room. Anyway, you don't really care about that. But, and as he's sitting in the kitchen, a little mouse comes out and says hello from the cupboards and then runs back in, which then causes a complete tailspin in our lives because we live in a manufactured home. We do not have anything from the floor to us. There's just a sheet of plastic between us and the ground. So we don't have a lot of ways to keep mice out at this point. So what happens? We start the mouse hunt. Like, where are the holes? Where are they going? What's happening? We tear apart our piano. We opened up the piano. We went in there to see because they've hidden in there before. We've taken out the oven. We're underneath all the sinks, the bathroom sink, the kitchen sink, all the stuff's out from there. Our closet, we empty that out in case they're coming in by the water heater. So everything comes out of the closet. And our house is completely trashed because we're looking for holes for these silly little mice that they may be coming in. And we have gone through and filled the holes before and put out stuff, and it's just part of living in a trailer, and you just kind of have to be okay with it. So we were like, okay, we couldn't find any holes. It's kind of a debacle over here. We put everything away. Now, since we had everything out, then I gave away 2 bags of stuff to the Salvation Army because I'm like, you know what? We don't need all this stuff. What is all this stuff doing in my house? You know, I pulled all the towels out from underneath the bathroom sink, and I'm like, we don't need this many towels. Everything must go. You just kind of get crazy, right? And maybe you don't. Maybe it's just me. So we put everything back. I put dinner in the oven, and we're relaxing for the evening. And all of a sudden, I heard a psh. And the rule in our house is if there's a crash or a thump or anything, you yell out, "I'm okay." And then so no one thinks that you're in trouble. Well, my daughter yells out, "I'm okay." So I stayed. I took a deep breath. I'll be completely honest. I did not move. I took a deep breath and I went, Lord, I can't do much more today. My husband went back and something had fallen on the ground and smashed into 1,000 smithereens. Now, if you know my story, you know that the Liberty Bell is a place that is a sign of God's miracles in my life. So when we were hoping to have children, God gave me a dream about the Liberty Bell, and this picture that's on the wall is a picture of my daughter in front of the Liberty Bell. And so it's just a constant reminder of God's provision, his miracles, his love, all those pieces, and it was shattered into a million pieces. And my husband brought it to the front and then swept up all the glass because he's really good about that. So it's up in the front and it's the end of the night. We're done with dinner. Everything's put away. And I walked over and I saw this broken frame. And I just kind of lost it. I'll be honest with you. It was the end of a very long day. And I just was like, Lord, I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm just at my end. And I kind of felt like he was like, good, now I can step in. Like, you've been trying to handle all of this by yourself, and you kind of need me here, Jen. And I looked at this broken glass, and I saw God's miracle underneath it. Even though everything was broken and destroyed on top, the picture was not. The miracle of God that he had brought into our lives was not destroyed. And it was just a reminder for me that the minute that we think we're completely in control, God says, you know what? It's okay for you to give it to me too. I can handle it. One of the sayings in our house is if it's big enough to worry about, it's big enough to pray about. And during halfway through the day when we had our entire house completely pulled apart, which is not something that I'm good at. I don't like chaos. My husband was like, you know what? This is big enough to pray about. Let us ask God what to do. We need you to get rid of the mice, Lord. Like, we don't know what else to do. We have done everything we know how to do. Lord, we need you. We need you, Lord. And it was just a reminder for me at the end of the day that God does not walk away in the midst of our chaos, in the midst of our brokenness, in the midst of us we didn't follow through on our New Year's resolutions, and we have just completely failed at them. I am so good at the old saying about falling off the wagon. Now, I realize that has to do with drinking. I don't drink, so it doesn't apply to me, but I've always used it for dieting. I fall off the wagon, and I don't fall off the wagon in my life. I get off the wagon, tear the wagon apart, put it in the middle, set it on fire, and I roast marshmallows. I am all in. Like, if I failed, we're just not going to touch that again. That we're never going to go back. And I just realized that sometimes God's like, hey, it's okay to fall and get back up and trust that I'm still got a plan for you, Jenny. And that was something that I needed to remember. I needed to remember that in my brokenness, God doesn't give up on me and doesn't say, well, you know what, you failed, so I'm gonna walk away now until you get this all together. Because that's kind of how we feel like sometimes that's how we kind of treat God. Like, hey, I failed, so I'm guessing you've given up on me, but could you give me another chance, please? That's not how he works. He is there and he wants to be with you in the midst of your chaos and brokenness, mice-ridden, glass-falling world. He's like, Jenny, it's okay if you have not done everything that you thought you would do this year. You can start it again. You can try it again. And why don't you let me help you? Why don't you let me step in and be peace and bring you insight and give you direction? And I'm like, oh, yeah, you could totally do. I would love that, right? But sometimes we get so in our heads that only we can do it. And it's all about us. And it's something we have to control, and then we'll let God. But sometimes those small moments of brokenness are the moments when you allow God to step in and be part of them, that a small miracle happens and it changes the direction of your day, your week, your year, the people around you. Just allowing God to step into the things you worry about that are big enough to pray about, right? They're big enough. If you're worrying about them, you should be praying about them too. And that's not a guilt thing. My husband says that all the time. It's not a guilt thing. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to allow God to step into our brokenness, to step into our chaos and say, Lord, do you see the mess I've made? Help me. That is what I'm doing this week. I am stepping into, Lord, look at the chaos of my life and look what I've made. Help me. I don't know where to go. I have made a mess of this and I need your help now, Lord. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I pray that if you're in the middle of brokenness and you're in the middle of chaos, or you're just in the middle of like, Lord, I don't know where to go, I just pray that you will allow him into that you will invite God into that situation in your life, or all of it, which is really hard. You forget sometimes. You get in your own place and you're like, I can do this by myself. And I hate when I have to go back and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that by myself, Lord. Because now it's a mess. And now I needed you when it wasn't a mess. And now I need you even more because it is a mess. And it's a humbling thing. But I'm telling you, God will step in. He will be there. He knows that we make a mess and is still willing to step in the midst of all of that. Well, you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram on Real Life with Jenny. Come on, follow us. Let's get this moving. If you're kind of been like, I don't know, jump in. Let's do this. Come to Real Life with Jenny. It is really fun. At least I'm having fun. I don't know if you are, but I'm having fun. And you can go to the links in the bio for my podcast links and the website and how to support this podcast. All that's in the bio now. And I just am excited about what God can do in your lives as you bring your brokenness and chaos to Him, and He steps in with His peace, His love, His promises, and His miracles. That even a small miracle really does change your entire outlook and life. And as a quick reminder, set up things like my picture in your life that remind you of God's faithfulness, that remind you of what He has done in the past. So when I see that picture every single morning, I go, God has a plan for me that's bigger than what I know. And it's a constant reminder that God loves me and He is with me through it all. Have a great week.